Deion Sanders' NFL-style reform dream crashes as Cam Newton blows lid off NIL hypocrisy. In a college football era that is rapidly transforming, one name continues to command attention, provoke debate, and fuel headlines. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Known for his unapologetic charisma and outspoken takes, Sanders once again threw himself into the center of controversy, this time calling for a drastic overhaul in how college football operates. But what he likely didn't anticipate was the fierce backlash, the fan disapproval, and a bombshell response from NFL superstar Cam Newton that would send shockwaves through the sporting world. This isn't just another heated sports debate. This is about power, money, and a generational clash in the rapidly evolving world of college athletics. Sanders' bold call for NFL-style salary caps and uniform discipline in college football was met with a resounding rejection, with players, fans, and even fellow football royalty accusing him of outright hypocrisy. Welcome to the chaos surrounding the name, image, and likeness, NIL revolution, where fortunes are made, careers are questioned, and legacies are on the line. Coach Prime's radical reform agenda. It all started with a simple but provocative statement. Deion Sanders, currently heading the Colorado Buffaloes football program, openly advocated for salary caps in college football, mirroring the National Football League, NFL, structure. Speaking out after Judge Claudia Wilkins' landmark approval of the NCAA versus House settlement, one that opened the floodgates of NIL compensation, Sanders did not mince words. "I wish there was a cap," Sanders declared. "Like, the top-of-the-line player makes this, and if you're not that type of guy, you know you're not going to make that. That's what the NFL does." But Sanders wasn't done. In true Coach Prime fashion, he doubled down, taking aim at the growing casualness in player attire, specifically condemning what he described as the biker shorts epidemic in college football. "We've got guys in biker shorts. That makes me sick. I think there should be a fine implemented for that stuff," Sanders asserted. For some, these statements were seen as Sanders trying to inject discipline and professionalism into a sport now awash with newfound riches for young athletes. But for many others, it was a case of the pot calling the kettle black. Cam Newton lights the fire. Among the first to openly challenge Sanders was former NFL MVP Cam Newton, who wasted no time in pointing out the apparent contradiction in Coach Prime's stance. Newton, speaking on the 4th and 1 podcast, dropped a brutal reality check on Sanders, calling out the timing and intention behind his remarks. It may be the unpopular opinion, but was Prime worried about this when his sons were there? Newton asked rhetorically. "I would say no. If somebody would have brokered a $1.7 million deal, he knew at the end of the day it would have been fair." Newton, known for his own larger-than-life personality, did not stop there. He directly referenced Sanders' sons, Shiloh and Shedeur, who benefited immensely from NIL deals while playing under their father's coaching reign at Jackson State and later at Colorado. Shiloh reportedly secured a $1 million deal, while Shedeur raked in a staggering $4.6 million. It would have been what he would have deemed as a father to say, "No, bro, we're not giving you 30%. We're going to give you 3% or we're going to give you a flat fee." That's what he would have done for his son, Newton continued. Newton's point was crystal clear. Sanders didn't appear to have any issues with the NIL landscape while his sons were cashing in. But now, with both Shiloh and Shedeur off to the NFL, Coach Prime suddenly finds fault in the system that once empowered his own family. A fan base in revolt. The football community didn't just sit quietly either. When Football Forever created a public poll on the matter, the results were telling. The question posed was simple. With college players getting paid, Sanders wants them to be disciplined and held accountable for not wearing equipment properly. Do you agree with Coach Prime? The answer came in loud and clear. Over 70% disapproval flooded in from fans. Social media turned into a battlefield. One fan wrote, "It's not the 2000s anymore, UNC," mocking Sanders' outdated views. Another pointed out the inconsistency, saying, "Wait, UNC, you said if we look good, we feel good, so we play good, right?" Yet another highlighted the glaring hypocrisy by stating, "His son literally wore these so-called biker shorts." The irony was impossible to ignore. The very fashion statements Coach Prime now condemned were part of the identity and swagger his sons had showcased while playing under him. Urban Meyer joins the critics. If Sanders thought the backlash would be limited to players and fans, he was in for another surprise. Urban Meyer, a college football coaching legend himself, scoffed at Sanders' proposal during his appearance on the Triple podcast. "I could care less," Meyer bluntly stated. "I think this is the 780th time we've talked about this. But it will never happen." Meyer's argument went deeper than just opinions. He highlighted the vast disparities between schools in different conferences and markets. Colorado is not the same as Ohio State and Alabama, and big market cities that have alumni that are willing to do that, Meyer pointed out. It's impossible to standardize something when your resources vary so dramatically. For Meyer, the idea of salary caps in college sports was not just impractical, it was an illusion. Nil revolution or recipe for chaos. At the heart of the uproar lies a bigger issue. What exactly is the future of college football supposed to look like? On one hand, the nil system has empowered student athletes, allowing them to monetize their skills, image, and brand in ways that were previously forbidden. Athletes like Shadur and Shiloh Sanders have become millionaires before even playing a single NFL snap. Stars like Olivia Dunn, Angel Reese, and Caleb Williams have become media sensations, building brands that transcend sports. But on the other hand, traditionalists argue that this commercialization threatens the essence of college football. The ideal of student athletes playing for pride, school spirit, and scholarships appears to be fading away under the weight of million-dollar contracts and endorsement deals. Deion Sanders finds himself straddling both worlds. As a former NFL icon, he understands the need for financial security and opportunity. But as a college football coach, he seems frustrated by the lack of structure and accountability in the nil era, especially when it no longer benefits his family directly. Nick Saban's warning echoes louder. Sanders is not alone in his concerns. Legendary Alabama coach Nick Saban, who recently retired, also warned about the long-term impact of unregulated nil spending. One school can't spend $30 million for players while another school is spending $3 million, Saban warned during one of his final interviews. Saban's sentiments highlight the fear that powerhouse programs with deep-pocketed boosters will continue to dominate, while smaller schools struggle to stay competitive, creating an even wider gap between the haves and have-nots. However, critics are quick to point out that both Saban and Sanders benefited from the old model before voicing their current concerns, making their motivations seem, at best, questionable. Hypocrisy or necessary correction? The million-dollar question remains, is Deion Sanders being hypocritical, or is he simply adapting to new realities and fighting for fairness? Supporters of Sanders claim that as a coach, he has a responsibility to instill discipline and ensure young athletes don't spiral into bad habits encouraged by sudden wealth. They argue that structure is necessary to prevent exploitation and to ensure that athletes focus on both academics and athletics, rather than chasing quick paydays. Critics, however, view his statements as opportunistic, pointing out the timing of his complaints, after his own family secured their financial success through NIL. As Cam Newton aptly summarized, the timing of Sanders' shift in stance raises more questions than answers. College football's identity crisis. The real story here isn't just about Sanders, Newton, or NIL. It's about the growing identity crisis in college football. Is it still amateur athletics designed to foster academic and athletic excellence? Or has it evolved into a pre-NFL professional league where the best young talent cashes in before going pro? The disapproval of Sanders' proposed NFL-style reforms suggests that the new generation of athletes and fans prefer freedom over regulation. They want athletes to look good, feel good, and, most importantly, get paid what they are worth, even if it means a little chaos. For Coach Prime, this controversy might be just another chapter in his roller coaster career. But for college football, it signals a defining era where tradition is being challenged, norms are being rewritten, and the power dynamics are shifting faster than ever before. One thing is certain, there's no turning back. College football is no longer just a game. It's big business, and Deion Sanders just got a stark reminder that in this new era, not even legends are safe from scrutiny.